my recommendation is to be very sparing with your sponsorships. A lot of people turn their channels just into like pure sponsor churn systems, and they'll make like 30-ish K a month, probably, I'd say, is like the reasonable top end if you're posting a video every day like I do. And then they just never grow, and then they never get past that. And the reason why is because people can typically smell sponsorships, just the way that you say the words and, some of the terms that they use. X platform is the greatest platform of all time. True story. So while, of course, sponsorships are a reasonable strategy, and I now have a couple of partners that I consider really high quality brands that I'm happy to make content on when they do drops and stuff like that, should not be your main strategy by far. So just want to let you know, like, you should make your own product and you should sell your own product. You shouldn't sell somebody else's product. Otherwise, all you really are is you're just a rapper. And, like any rapper, they tend to be able to be hot swapped at any moment by a company if need be. But anyway, so some advice for actual sponsors, just like have an email and like make sure that email is front and center, because a lot of people have scraping workflows now, and they will just scrape whatever the email is, blast the same message to all of them. If you're going to do the sponsorship bit, try and minimize the amount of time they have to like run your content. So actually set like a firm deadline rather than, like 6 months or a year or 5 years, or even just like making it undisclosed. Make sure you have like rights to that content, and you're giving up those rights for a short period of time. And after that short period of time, they revert to you. That tends to be the best. Otherwise, and I've done this a couple of times now, companies, as great as they are, will just continuously like run that video for years, basically. And then they can do it at any point in time. Even if the reputation of the parent company itself suffers, they still have content that ties your face and your voice to them, which is not very good. I'd say that's probably about it. Yeah, have like expiry rights. Be very wary if they're pushing your face and voice with ads. That's something else that I think you should be careful about. Not that that's inherently bad, but when they do, these companies have a lot of money behind them. A lot of the ones that are reaching out, if they're already willing to do influencer campaigns, like you can be blasted all over the internet. And if your sponsorship or whatever is like not very high quality, then that'll be associated with you for a lifetime. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. Again, focus more on your own products. I've been right where you are many, many times, as a quote unquote college student who has tried almost everything. And I want you to know, you probably haven't even scratched the surface of what you can try. How many pieces of outreach have you sent in the last 30 days alone? If it's not, 10,000 or more, probability is very low that you've tried everything. Have you started canvassing businesses in your neighborhood? Have you walked up to, several thousand of them and opened the door and introduced yourself and said, listen, I know this is crazy, but I think I can make you another $5,000 or $10,000 a month if you hear me out? Have you, ran through your phone book and contacted every past employer and pitched them? What you've probably done is just like those superficial things. And I don't mean to be a dick about it, but what you've probably done is you've like made a Facebook post about it or a LinkedIn post, and you thought that that's like trying, but it really isn't. We've been poisoned to think that that is trying nowadays, that you can just make a post and you have your megaphone out and everybody will hear you. But they can't, because everybody else has their megaphones out. So you really need to go above and beyond here, my man. You got to reach out to, thousands of people per month. That's unfortunately just how it is. I always bring up the example historically from my own life where I actually had to go and canvass somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 businesses before I made my first dollar. And I actually ended up making like $7, something like that, after my refund, because I didn't do that job very well, on, 2,500 doors that I actually walked into. If you figure that hourly rate out, it's $7 divided by 2,500 doors. Every door probably took me like 5 minutes to canvass. Think about that math, right? So the only reason why I'm here today and I make more money than 99.9% of people on earth do is just because I continued going past that point, to the point of absolute absurdity. And I would recommend that you put on your absurdity hat and get used to it.